Well, it's July the 10th, and the Grand Tetons in front of us. Mackenzie's first flight in a small aircraft, and her third flight ever. What did you think about going up in a small plane?
It was a lot different than flying commercially. You kind of felt everything a lot more than you did in a bigger airplane just because it's such a smaller space.
Well, yeah, it's definitely smaller, but did you were you excited or?
I was super excited. I was ready to get in the plane as soon as we got to the airport. I didn't want to take any time waiting. I was just ready to get on there and go.
Well, it's definitely a beautiful place to come and see the Grand Tetons and that whole area. Why are you in Wyoming?
Well, I'm actually nannying for your grandchildren.
Yes,
for your daughter Cora, and it's very exciting, very exhausting, but fun every day. So I love it.
Well, I knew Mackenzie from a long time ago when she was in high school. And my wife and I were young life leaders, and we were able to meet Mackenzie and fell in love with her. And we've been good friends since then, right?
Right.
Yes. So here we are, we're taking off. We got clearance from the tower at Jackson Hole. And, I'm always looking for the rotation speed at 60 and 70 tires off the ground and 80 climbing. At 6,500 feet where we are, we have to lean the engine before we take off. And we want to make sure that everything is working really well. It's a long runway, it's about almost 7,000 feet long. And we are flying right now south. And we are going to be heading towards the Grand Tetons to our right. And right over Isabel's house, which is another one of our daughters that lives right here in Jackson Hole. Well, as we're flying north, going towards Yellowstone, there's Jackson Lake, and there's Coulter Bay. Well, Mackenzie, what do you think about Coulter Bay?
I love Coulter Bay. I've been there a couple of times now, and we actually just went there a couple weeks ago to go kayaking, and Dickie and his wife left me in the dust. They were so synced, and they were just leaving me behind, and it wasn't embarrassing. It was all fun. It was warm and beautiful. It was great.
It was a beautiful day at Jackson Lake, and you can rent kayaks and canoes and so on over there at Coulter Bay, and of course Jackson Lake Lodge is right there below us on our right, and it's a beautiful place to see the Grand Tetons from their big windows. So as we're going north here, you can see the end of the lake, and that is where the gate to Yellowstone comes in. We flew over that whole section, and it's quite a beautiful flight. It is the Continental Divide right there at the entrance into Yellowstone. So there is a little bit of turbulence always in that area. But you handled the turbulence pretty well.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was probably worse coming back than it was going, but definitely you felt it a lot more than I did when I was on like a bigger airplane.
Oh.
But I thought it was pretty cool, so it was fun.
It was all fun. Here's Old Faithful to our right. We did not time it correctly. Old Faithful does shoot up about every hour and a quarter, and we did not hit that one just right. But you can see a lot of the cauldrons and a lot of steam coming up of this area. So as we're coming forward, what do you think one of your most favorite parts, you think?
I'm not really they was all so much fun. I think the views just coming up, you'll definitely see. You fall in love with it. I'm still in awe at everything we got to see, but it's beautiful.
Well, you sure took a beautiful picture right here at Grand Prismatic.
The colors you see in pictures are nothing like what you see in person, but there it is, and it's just, I'm in awe. It's beautiful there, it's beautiful in pictures, it's amazing.
And then, of course, we passed the rest of the cauldron area where it has lots of shooting geysers and pots that bubble up, and those things you do want to see them from the ground. Prismatic, you can see it from the air so much better. You can do the whole Yellowstone in 2 hours in the air, but you can only do it on a private plane. You can't hire a plane. Here we are going into the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. What do you think about that?
I got to see that in person, and I have to say that it's a lot better seeing it overhead. You get to see the entire thing in one view, and it's awesome. You get to see the waterfalls, and it's just so different seeing it from above.
Well, it's huge. It just goes for miles to the north of that waterfall, but that waterfall is quite amazing.
It is.
So, and as you can see there, that green right below our plane, that's the Bison Flats, and you go towards Yellowstone Lake there, and of course that's where a lot of the bison go in. Well, that is a beautiful waterfall, and there's two of them. The first one you can barely see at the bottom of the screen on the right. Well, right here we start looking at Yellowstone Lake and the Yellowstone River off of the lake. It's quite a big lake with the Yellowstone Inn, which is right below on the lake. It's quite a historic inn. We've stayed there a couple of times. And then, of course, we flew towards the entrance again, and that's really west of this. We had tailwinds going towards the Grand Canyons, and now we have headwinds going back. I wanted Mackenzie to have a little bit of experience of flying, this being her first private plane flight. So here she is. I'm telling her that she needs to go straight towards Lewis Lake in front of us, and I let her have the controls. Mackenzie, tell us about that. Your grin is big, your neck is tight.
Well, if you didn't notice, my eyes tripled in size when he told me that I was gonna fly, and I was definitely a little freaked out, but super excited for the opportunity. So I grabbed and I went for it and flew, I think, for what, like 30 minutes?
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised at how touchy it is, but that makes it all the more fun because you are even more responsible. So it was awesome. I loved it. Probably my favorite part.
Well, and then you have to realize that you had to maintain altitude and direction.
Yeah.
So how did you maintain altitude?
You were telling me to pull it out and then push it back in to go up and down, and I definitely did not know that's how that happened. So that was cool to finally get to understand how that came about.
That and it was really calm air at this point for us, so it made it really nice until we got back to the Continental Divide, and you were still piloting over that.
Yeah.
Did that freak you out a little bit, or
we hit a little turbulence, but it wasn't awful. But I definitely felt it, and it was freaky, but it was cool to feel it.
Yes. So we jumped forward. In a lot of this video, we're jumping from one place to the other just because it couldn't be that long. We actually flew for about an hour and 45 minutes total. We're trying to shorten the video. So here is Jackson Lake from the north, facing southward with the Grand Tetons to our right. What a beautiful sight. In the next video right here, we're looking at the south part of the lake, Grand Tetons right in front. That was beautiful, wasn't it?
It was. Best view you could have.
No interference between us and the Grand Tetons, and you see Mount Moran on our right with the big snow basin on there, and the Grand Teton is straight ahead, what we would say 12 o'clock. And we, of course, contacted Jackson Tower because we're in their airspace at this point, and I told them we were coming in for a full stop landing. Now, you took a beautiful picture of the Grand Tetons from here. That's almost like a magazine style picture. I mean, y'all get to see it in just a second as we're I'm a little concerned. There's a plane to our left that's coming towards us. I think they were going north to Yellowstone, and then there was a jet that was passing us to go land. Of course, they're much faster than we are. And so we were sort of north of the flight path and west of the flight path. Here it is. What a beautiful picture you took.
I got lucky with my pictures.
That was something else. So now here we are over what we call Dornans, which is a stop into Teton National Park entrance. And the big Snake River, you can see it going, snaking down towards Idaho. And the runways run in front of us. They actually saw our landing light, and they gave us clearance to land. There's nobody around, so that was really nice. What do you think about landing this plane?
I was definitely more concerned because it's so much lighter than obviously a larger plane, but it was so smooth, and I was very impressed. Barely felt anything.
Well, I like my smooth landings when I can get them. I'd say most of them are, but not all. I do bounce every once in a while, but I try to make it as smooth as I can. I like my passengers to think that touching ground was unfelt. They are very nice at Jackson, at the FBO. They treat us like if we were a jet, or treat us very nicely, and they actually escort us into our spot and tie up our plane, and they are very courteous. Of course, Mackenzie, you helped me put the cover over the plane again. And the picture that we came in at the first of this video was actually taken at the last of this video. And we forgot to take a picture before we were walking away and said, oh, we need to take a picture of Mackenzie with the Grand Tetons on front. So that was a good picture of you.
It was. Love that picture.
Yes. Well, this is the end of our video. and they let us roll all the way to the end where the Civil Aviation part is, in the FBO at Jackson Hole Aviation. And hope you enjoyed this video, and hope it encourages you to fly. Well, Mackenzie?
Thank you for flying me around to
Yeah,
Yellowstone.
it sure was fun flying
Yes.
you. So much fun.